Frontal bone, parietal, occipital, temporal, zygomatic, nasal, lacrimal, maxilla. Coronal suture, sagittal suture, lambdoidal suture, squamosal suture, internasal suture, intermaxillary suture. Frontal squama, frontal glabella, superciliary ridge, supraorbital foramen, infraorbital foramen, lacrimal bone and duct, optic foramen, superior orbital fissure, inferior orbital fissure, nasoseptum. The bottom is the vomer, the top is the perpendicular plate of the ethmoid. This is the inferior and middle nasoconchi. Intermaxillary suture, alveolar margin, zygomaticofacial foramen of the zygomatic bone, squamosal suture, temporal squama, mastoid process, styloid process, external acoustic meatus, zygomatic arch, zygomatic process of the temporal bone, temporal process of the zygomatic bone. Cristigale, cribiform plate, olfactory foramina of the ethmoid bone, lesser wings, greater wings of the sphenoid bone, foramen rotundum, sella turcica, anterior clinoid process, posterior clinoid process, dorsum celli, optic chiasm, hypophyseal fossa, carotid groove, petrous portion of the temporal bone, internal acoustic meatus, anterior, middle, and posterior cranial fossa. Incisive foramen, median palatine suture, transverse palatine suture, palatine process of the maxilla, horizontal plate of the palatine, greater and lesser palatine foramen, vomer, pterygoid process, mandibular fossa, foramen lacerum, foramen ovale, foramen spinosum, carotid canal, jugular foramen, styloid process, mastoid process, stylomastoid foramen, occipital condyle, condylar fossa, foramen magnum, hypoglossal canal, nuchal lines, external occipital protuberance. Okay, we have our mental foramen of the mandible, body, alveolar margin, mandibular angle, mandibular notch, mandibular ramus, coronoid process, condyloid process, mandibular foramen, mylohyoid line.